right, let's get to work.
Justin, you didn't think it could get any better, huh?
Here we go.
Hello everyone, how are you doing today? Okay, so this is a quick review for the motion and velocity exam, okay? So let's start. First of all, motion, we already know that it has to do with an object moving or changing distance from one place to another, okay? Remember the butterfly activity we did together? Perfect. Now the reference point, in Spanish we call it punto de referencia, and are those points that we use for comparison and to know if an object is in motion or not. Okay, remember the example I showed you about you being next to a bus and feeling you're moving backwards? That is why it's very important for you to choose a correct reference point whenever you're measuring something. For example, we said a building wouldn't move eventually, so that would be a good reference point. A person can't be a good reference point because it will move eventually. A car is not a good reference point. The Statue of Liberty, yes. A tree, yes. Okay, those are good examples. Now, let's also talk about the relative motion. Relative motion is when you're moving relative to your reference point. Remember we said in class that, for example, there is motion from the boat relative to the girls, okay? Or there is motion from the girl relative to the boat. But if the girl moves into the boat, there is no motion from the girl relative to the boat. Okay, the girl that is inside the boat. Okay? And then we have the International System of Units, and in motion, we will be focusing on distance, that the basic unit of it is meters. And we said that we have the kilometers, hectometers, decameters, in other words, the King Henry table. And you need to learn this one, okay? By now I believe you already have it, so it's fine. Now we need to understand the difference between distance and displacement. One is a scalar quantity and the other one is a vector quantity. Now what is a scalar and what is a vector quantity? A scalar quantity is a quantity or a measurement that only has, well, I just said it, measurement. Okay? And a vector quantity has measurement or magnitude, we can call it magnitude as well. And it also has direction. Okay, so in order to remember this, I can give you a short tip that if you add here a line, you convert it into an arrow. So if it's an arrow, it has a direction, it's moving downward, for example. So that's how you can remember that the displacement will tell you a vector quantity. And the distance, how can I know only a distance? Well, for example, if I want to measure the size of this house from here to here, let's say it is 5 meters. So that's the distance of it, but it's not really moving. Okay, that's like the difference. Now, in this example, we have the boy moving from point A to point C. So the displacement, lo que se desplazó, are 4 meters plus 3 meters. But the distance covered is 5 meters, okay? We also saw these examples during class. And then let's turn to velocity and speed. Velocity and speed is really important for you to remember the difference between them. Again, here we have a scalar quantity and a vector quantity. The difference between velocity and speed is that velocity has direction and speed will only tell you how fast something is moving. So both will tell you how fast something is moving. Only that velocity, remember, if you add the line, you can say that you have direction because velocity also has the letter V. Okay, that's the way you can remember it. Then we have average speed and instantaneous speed. Average speed, guys, is just the average speed of your whole trajectory, okay? But we won't include this on the exam because we didn't see it like that much. And instantaneous speed is the speed exactly at one point. For example, let's say this car is moving through this whole time and you want to know exactly what is the velocity in here. Well, that is why velocimeters or speedometers are used in cars to know exactly at what velocity your mom or dad or grandparent is driving, okay? Okay, so now let's talk about the velocity problems, guys. The formula that I will commonly give you on the exam is this one. And there's two ways to clear this type of formula. This type of formula is of 3 variables. The V, which is velocity, D for distance, and T for time. Okay? For that, you need to remember the most important rules for clearing them, which will be if you are adding, you'll pass it to the other side of the equal sign, subtracting, and the other way around. If you are multiplying, you pass it to the other side, dividing, and the other way around. We're focusing only on these 2 rules. Now, we have velocity equals distance divided by time. But let's say I want to find distance. So if I want to find distance, I know that time is being divided. Distance divided by time. So what will I do? I will bring it to the other side, okay? And if it's dividing, now it will be multiplying. So you will put TV or VT, I don't mind, is the same, equals distance, okay? And here we have distance equals VT. It doesn't matter if you put this on this side or this on this side, it's okay, as long as they're separated by the equal sign. And now if you want to find time, well, you would need to do it double, okay? You need to do first this one, and then you want to find time. So if you want to find time, you have to apply another rule again to bring velocity. Velocity here is multiplying time. So because it's multiplying, you'll pass it dividing. So you will have time equals distance divided by velocity. Super, super important. If velocity is being sent to the other side, it goes directly under distance, okay? Not on top, under. Now, the other way is with the triangle. I will give you the triangle on the exam. Now, this line right here means division. And this line right here means multiplication. So, if I'm trying to find velocity, is distance divided by time. If I'm trying to find time, is distance divided by velocity. And if I'm trying to find distance, velocity times time. Because they're next to each other, it's a multiplication. So let's try to do the first problem. I will do one of each type. In this one it says, what is the distance traveled by a car with a constant speed of 40 meters per second in 40 seconds? Okay, so let's remember that my clue word is what. What is the distance? So I'm searching for distance, that I will put a question mark. Then I have a speed. Remember that for speed, I use a v of velocity of 40 meters per second and a time of 40 seconds. So the formula I'm giving you is velocity equals distance divided by time. So if I want to find distance, I will bring time to the other side multiplying. So I have distance equals velocity times time. Distance equals 40 meters per second times 40 seconds. And the unit is like a whole number, so it's over 1. So I will cancel seconds with seconds and I multiply it. So distance equals 1,600 meters. Okay? The other way to do it is that if you have your triangle, you have velocity, distance, and time. And you're searching for distance, well, remember that this means multiplication, so you will need to multiply it. Okay? Now let's move to this type of problem. It says, if a cheetah were running at 22 meters per second, how long would it take him to run 400 meters? So the words how will tell you, it's your clue word to know what we're searching for. So how long would it take? It means that we're searching for time. Now, if you're not sure what you're looking for, just highlight all of the data that they're giving you. In this case, we have 22 meters per second and 400 meters. So let's say I didn't understand how long would it take. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, but I know that distance is 400 meters and the 22 meters per second, the meters per second always will be for velocity. So velocity equals 22 meters per second. We're talking about velocity problems. So I know that velocity equals distance divided by time, even though that's not the formula I'm using right now. Okay, so I have velocity, I have distance, so I'm missing time. It means I'm searching for time. Okay, so if I go to my triangle, velocity, distance, and time, and I'm searching for time, it means that distance divided by velocity. Time equals distance divided by velocity. So we have 400 meters divided by 22 meters per second. So you have 400 divided by 22, 18.18. Now, we cancel meters with meters because we have one at the top and one at the bottom, and your answer will be in seconds, okay? Because this m, it's like being over 1, like a whole number. And now we're missing to find a velocity, right? Okay, let's do problem number 3. It took 30 seconds for a horse to complete 500-meter race. What was the speed of the horse? We're searching for the velocity or speed. You can put an S. We have a distance of 500 meters and time of 30 seconds. So velocity equals distance divided by time. So we have 500 meters divided by 30 seconds. You can cancel zeros because it's like simplifying fractions. You already know that, right? So 50 divided by 3 will give you 16.66 meters per second. Now, I might ask you on the exam to give me answers in meters per second, kilometers per hour, and miles per hour. How will I do that? Well, if I'm changing meters per second to kilometers per hour, it means that I need my double box procedure. So if you want to remember how the double box procedure is done, please watch the video about double box procedures, okay? And I believe that's it, guys. So don't doubt to contact me either you need to clear any doubt, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Love you and miss you. Bye.